Hi guys, welcome to Next Stop Crazy Town, the Love What You Do series. I am so excited for my another new bestie on Clubhouse, Rita Pira. How are you?
Hey, I'm so good. Oh my God. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be so fun. So Rita and I were in a Clubhouse room and I totally right away was like, oh, I love her energy. Love her energy. If we lived close to each other, we would be having a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
You're on the West Coast though, right?
I am.
You are. You were in New York for a little while, and we can touch on that as you get into the episode. But can you share your quote first?
Yes. So one thing that I always say is everything happens for you, not to you. And then another thing I always say, I'm going to say two quotes, girl. I'm going to just do it.
Go for it.
All right, cool. The other thing I always say is you attract the energy you vibrate. And so it's so important to always be conscious of how you're feeling and what you're thinking, because that creates the energy you vibrate.
Perfect. And this is like totally what this whole series is about. So I love it. So mine is, you'll always win when you move with love and genuine intention always.
That's so true.
And I love that because it's true. Like you really have to be genuine, and you also have to love what you're doing to kind of like be out there and be real.
Yep.
Yep.
Welcome to your next stop. This is Juliette Hahn. I am a wife, mom, virtual coach, public speaker, and crazy obsessed dog lover. I am so honored to be able to take you into the life of someone that has followed a passion. Every week, I hope you are as inspired as I am. Welcome to your next stop.
Okay, Rita. So I want to hear about all of this stuff. So Rita is the host of Trading Raw Stories, correct?
Yes.
Right? That's your awesome podcast, which is just so fun. I love it. It is real and it's raw. I mean, it's such a great platform. And when did you start that?
I started it in October, actually. It's so crazy. It's been on my mind. I've wanted to do it for years. And I talked myself out of it, out of fear of judgment, out of what people would think, what people would say, and putting myself out there in a way. I always kept myself hidden and really small and just out of sight, out of mind, out of fear of people talking about me. And that came from my childhood, just being Assyrian. It's like ancient Babylonian Mesopotamia back in the day when the day was back. And so we don't have a country or anything. The country was called Assyria. So if you look it up, it's where Iraq and Syria and all that whole region used to be Assyria. But anyway, so you learned about us in fifth grade for 5 seconds.
Got it. Okay.
So they it's deeply programmed in you to not basically do what you're supposed to do as a woman, right? Get married, have kids, sit down, shut up, and maybe be a teacher. And then don't do anything crazy, dress nice. And basically, yeah. So I limited myself big time in my entire life until I finally was like, I do not care what anybody thinks or says anymore. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a reason. I'm going to show up. Can I swear on this podcast?
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right. I was going to say, I'm going to show the fuck up.
Yes. Well, you know what? And I love that you said that, because that is definitely a lot of women say that when I'm interviewing them. That's what they were taught in their child. I was very fortunate that I wasn't grown up that way. But my mom also says, she's like, you came out like a screaming, like you were doing your own thing. She's like, even if we tried to kind of tame you, it wasn't happening. But so many women that happens to, and it's heartbreaking. But I love that you were like, fuck no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to do some stuff. So I know you have some, you're an intuitive, holistic life coach. You're also the CEO and founder of Redefine Your Life Academy. So I want to hear about all of that. And then the podcast. So what came first? Where did you start? Were you a teacher? I think you were a teacher for a little while, right? 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah, I taught first I taught 5th grade in Phoenix, Arizona. Then I moved to New York after being in Arizona for 4 years, in Scottsdale. And then when I lived in New York, I was in Brooklyn the first 3 years, Queens, Forest Hills, Queens the last 2. Then I was getting ready to move to Manhattan, but I felt this calling to move back to be with my family. I'd been gone a decade, and long story. But when I taught 4th grade in Brooklyn, then the sales job that I had, I was working with professors And they one day, like, I just built such good relationships with them. I've been in sales all my life. And so they were just like, hey, didn't you used to teach? And I was like, yeah. They're like, you want to teach? And I'm like, college? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay. And so wouldn't you know it, that the class that they gave me to teach was freaking public speaking. And I had
amazing.
I know. And it's like the universe was giving me breadcrumbs like all along, because in 2008, I was picked out of thousands of people to work on Vans Warped Tour for the Truth campaign. They put a mic in my hand and they're like, go ahead. And I'm like, what do I do? And they're just like, go do your thing, just have fun. And I'm like, okay. And so I discovered my passion, my love, my gift for being able to have a microphone in my hand and just flow and riff and just magic come out of my mouth. And then look at me now with a microphone in my, like, it's magic.
Right.
Like, put me on a stage, put a microphone in my hand, I light up, I shine. It is my gift. And I wouldn't have known it if I didn't take a huge scary risk of like going to that audition. I had to quit my job to do it.
I love that so much. And you know what you said is that there is like the breadcrumbs. There's always whispers and breadcrumbs. And that's what I want women to hear. Like, listen to your gut. If you're hearing something or something is pulling you, don't keep stuffing it and don't shut it up. Go for it. You have to go for it.
I can give you a perfect example of something happening right now if you want.
Please.
It's pretty crazy. Okay, so I'm living in downtown San Diego. I have a nice luxury apartment or whatever. I'm in East Village technically, but Gaslamp, where everybody goes to party. So it's COVID and it's a little more low key than it would normally be, but the environment, I'm realizing my energy is far above where the vibrational frequency of this neighborhood is, because it's full of homeless people and crazies that are on drugs, just roaming around the streets, screaming at each other. And I witnessed yesterday a woman that was threatening some guy who was not even paying attention to her at all. And she's just yelling at him. And she takes her pants down, fills a cup with her own urine and threatens him, I'm going to pee on you. And I'm like, this is where I live? Like, what is going on?
Right.
Yeah. And then I stepped in literal dog shit. And I was like, is this dog shit or is it human shit? I couldn't tell the difference. I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I felt it for so long. Ever since I moved in here, it didn't feel right. And and everything was going wrong. It was like, I do not belong here. And the sunlight, very, very, like you saw on my Instagram, I was talking about how there's like no sunlight in my apartment.
Yes.
And I'm like, I need to move. And I have felt this nudge, move. You need to move. You don't belong here. So that's what it is. It's a whisper. It's a nudge. It's something that crosses your mind every day and you suppress it and you're like, okay, I'm fine, or whatever it is.
Right.
And so then I found this apartment that is in the most perfect, beautiful, high-end location. The building itself is luxurious on like crack, and then floor-to-ceiling windows and an insane amount of abundant light. And then you get to actually see the sunset from my freaking living room or my balcony or my bedroom. No obstruction at all. And I'm just like, oh my God, my body is like so excited. Like, look at me talking about it. I'm so lit up. It's insane.
So excited.
And so
then
excited. It's like $1,000 more than I'm paying. And my fear would creep in and go, no, Rita, are you stupid? You can't afford this. Or, like what? I didn't even let that creep in. I didn't even let that be a thing. I automatically said, I don't care. I'm doing it. It's going to work out. It'll be fine. The universe will support me. I'm going to level up. I'm going to raise my money mindset baseline, because in New York, I was paying 22 something. Here, I'm paying 23 something. So let me just like bump it up again. Let's go. Let's raise that up, because otherwise you're only going to stay at the same baseline, at your comfort zone. But guess what? I can always fall back and end up exactly where I am. This is my new baseline. So I'm going to raise it up. And I've been seeing signs. Everywhere I look. There's a 44. I just freaking changed. And then the rent dropped for like, because I said yes and I'm going with it. Then the universe goes, good girl, let's drop that rent for you. They literally dropped the rent. And then there's a 44 in it. And then I just changed my electricity, whatever bill to the account to my new address. And of course, the new account number they gave me had a 44 in it. And I'm just like,
see,
I'm so meant to do this. As scary as it is. You do the scary shit. That is the best advice I can give.
Because that's how you grow.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's how you grow. If you stay in it, you're not going to grow, and you have to do the scary shit. Oh my God, I love that. And I love all the signs, the 44s and all that stuff. That is unreal. And you're doing a lot of stuff right now. I mean, you have your Life Academy, you have your podcast, and Clubhouse is putting you in touch with so many people, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's where we connected and stuff like that. So not only are you opening your mind, but you're also opening your life, and just every time you're going to come into something else that's just going to keep bettering and bettering when you have that mindset. If you have the small mindset, things don't happen. When you have the big mindset, things happen.
Yeah, that's the thing. We are the only thing keeping us exactly where we are. Like, if I could tell anybody one thing, like my coaching clients or whatever, it's your life experience right now is what it is because of nobody but you. Like, you have 1000% control over your life. You do. So this victim mindset, or I can't, because you're blaming external things, you're blaming the cards you were dealt. Like, I'll give you an example of me, my brother, and my sister. We grew up in the same household. We grew up literally in the same circumstances. If anything, they went to better schools than I did, because I was even like, hey, you know what? Let's move out of this area so that they could go to a better school. We are living 3 completely different lives because we chose different things. We made decisions. So it's completely in your power. You can make a scary decision right now. You can take a huge risk. You can decide to leave the relationship you're in. You can move out of the apartment you're in, or move to a whole new state. Start from scratch. Like, do the scary thing. Whatever is tugging at your heart, whatever is inspiring you to go like, oh, I wish I could do this. You can. You wouldn't have that desire on your heart if it weren't for you to bring forth. And that's what I always tell people is whatever you're thinking about and whatever idea doesn't go away, that is what you're meant to do. Like, this podcast was supposed to come out, oh my God, I can't even tell you how long ago. And it was called so many different things, and I wasn't sure about it. And I kept myself stuck and like, I don't know how, I don't know what, I don't know whatever. Just to stay, give myself excuses, justify why I'm not doing it yet. And then once I showed up, it's like, boom, magic.
Boom.
I already have 90 5-star reviews. I have big names coming on. I just had Sharon Lecter. I have Forbes Riley coming on. I had freaking Hala Taha come on. Like, it's insane. It's growing so fast. And I only started in October. And as a result, everything that I ever was confused about, because I'm multi-passionate. I'm, this plant-based, vegan, juicing, whatever, for over a decade now. I was doing it before it was cool. And that is something I wanted to do. People were like, oh, you have to pick one thing. I'm like, I'm not picking one thing because everything is connected and all of it is me. So I brought it all into my podcast. I talk about health. I talk about nutrition. I talk about your mindset. I talk about my life stories, trading raw stories. So about being raw.
I love it.
I am raw and real. And I bring people who tell their stories of their transformation, of like what they've been through and who they were before and who they are now and how they got here. And it's just such an inspiring, raw and real conversation. And we vibe back and forth and find that we have so much in common. I don't do any pre-interviews. I don't prepare any questions. I don't do any research on you. You show up and I'm like, hello, human. Let's get to know each other.
And that's why we connected, because I do the same. I did like a little tiny research, but I was like, I want to hear your story firsthand because that's what I love. I love that energy. I love getting into the conversations about it. I love the realness of it, because if I did too much, I would know, and it'd be like, okay, so I love that, like the fact that you and your siblings all have, done different things, but the fact that you just have the energy and the fire to do something that, again, was different and scary. So like the reason why I started this Love What You Do series is I started my podcast in November 2019. I said to my kids and my husband, I'm going to start a podcast. And I said to my friends, and they're like, what are you going to talk about? I was like, I have so many stories. I love stories. I'll find things to talk about. And they're like, podcasting's hard. Do you know what you're doing? And I'm like, no, but I'm going to figure it out. So I wanted to show my family, and no one was negative. They weren't like, don't do it. They're like, oh, well, that's interesting. Go ahead. But the thing that I wanted to show them is I dreamed it. I can create it.
Yeah.
And I can learn about it. I can Google, I can talk to people that have done it before. And then with this series, I wanted to take to the podcast to a different level, because I want to help women. I want to help moms know that, you know what, you're not silent. Like if you have something that you're passionate about, fucking go for it. Don't just sit there. Like, my biggest fear in life is to be bored.
My biggest fear in life is to end up on my deathbed full of regret of trying to please other people and do things because they told me to or not to, and just worry about what other people think. Then you end up on your deathbed and you're just like, shit, I should have did that. Well, too late now, buddy. Like,
right.
I do not, and that's another reason why I say yes to everything and I expect it to work out. And that's like the same thing with the apartment. That's the same thing with just picking up and moving or leaving a relationship and being scared about whatever it is. I do it and I just believe. I believe from my core it will be fine. I will be taken care of. It will work out, and it does, because I genuinely believe that. Because your thoughts create beliefs. Your beliefs create emotions.
So true.
Your emotions create your reality. And that's what it comes down to. So if you check your thoughts and your thoughts are constantly negative and saying, I can't this, I can't that, and you're worrying about everything, worrying is praying for the shit you don't want.
Totally. Right. And that's so true. And that is the thing. Like, when you sit and you're stuck, how many times have you talked to people, especially in your coaching business, that are like, well, I wanted to do that, but I'm not significant enough, or I'm not important enough, or who wants to, when I had a friend be like, well, what are you going to say? Who wants to hear you? And I was like, everyone wants to hear me. What are you talking about?
God, that's not nice.
Well, and she wasn't saying it in a bad way, but she was like, seriously, who, like, what, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about everything. And she was like, oh, everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk about everything, because there's someone that's going to listen, that's going to resonate, that I'm going to able to help get unstuck, or I'm going to have someone that's going to sit there and laugh, and they need that laugh that day, or they need something. And so that's why I love that you're doing this Trading Raw Stories, because that's what it is about. People love stories. They also love to be taken out of their crazy lives, right? Like, they like to hear about other people's. And every person that I've been interviewing on this podcast has the most interesting, unique, fun. Like, some people, didn't have a lot of hardship in their lives, but they just had a drive that they always wanted to do something. And they're like, oh, I just tried this. Other people had hard childhoods or hard marriages or whatever, and they got out of it, and they have done something because they were inspired, because they wanted to do more, and they believed in themselves, but it took them a while to get there.
Girl, so everyone has a story. Everyone has a story.
Everyone.
And it's like, so what I always say is, like, your healing can heal others. And so when your friend, I want to tell you a couple of things. So first of all, when somebody's not supportive, or when you tell someone about what you're doing, the people closest to you are usually the ones that are going to be like, why? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it's because they're pretty much feeling like they don't want you to do anything because they're not doing anything. They're just projecting their own insecurities to make themselves feel better about not doing what you're doing, or not pursuing their dreams. They don't have it in them to do it. So they're like trying to take you down so that you don't rise up. But that's one thing. And then the other thing is storytelling is actually the original form of entertainment. And if you think about it, every single movie, every single superhero movie, it's the same movie over every time. Some tragedy, and then you get some powers, or you learn or grow, overcome something, and then there's like some villain, and then you overcome it, whatever, and you happily ever after. And so with telling stories, and people love stories because that was truly the original form of entertainment. Like, this is what hooks people in. This is what they learn from, and they can relate to what you're talking about. And for you and what you're doing with this podcast and just showing up in the world, everyone who finds you is meant to find you. When the teacher is ready, the students will appear. And I'm getting DMs all the time from people that I've never even, like, they've never engaged on my Instagram. I've been following you forever and blah, blah, blah. And I love what you said today. And it was exactly what I needed. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like,
amazing, right?
People are like, it's selfish to keep your magic to yourself. It is selfish. You need to show up. You need to stop being in your head about it and just show up, because at the end of the day, what people think and what people have to say does not matter. It does not matter. This is what got me out of my fear of judgment and finally got to show up. This is how I did it. I realized that no matter what I do, whether I do everything perfect or not, they will still talk. There will be people I cannot please, no matter how hard I try to be perfect for whoever, because there's no way that you could please everyone. You're always going to be a disappointment to somebody. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. No matter whether you do or you don't, you're going to disappoint, and people will talk. So you might as well. you might as well. And then the imposter syndrome of how your friend was saying, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to say? And whatever. I was saying that to myself. Who's going to listen to me? Who am I to do this? Why should I even bother? Oh, forget it. It's pointless. And that's what keeps us stuck. And it's just our fear, because our brain is literally designed to scan the environment for saber-toothed tigers. And now the saber-toothed tigers are freaking internet trolls. Okay. And so we're constantly living in this like fear of like, oh, people will talk about me, or, people will judge me, or I'm going to fail. Fear of failure, fear of success, like fear of judgment. We can't win. So you have to realize you are here for a short time, not a long time. And you are here with a passion. You are here with a purpose. You are here for a reason. And what you want to do is not what I want to do. You have your own desires. You have your own things that are tugging at your heart, because they are meant for you to bring forth. Not me, not Juliet, like you listening. Whatever it is that is on your heart that's tugging at you, you're meant to do it. So just show up. Take one little baby step, just one teeny tiny baby step. I guarantee you the next one will appear, and it'll be easier than you thought. And you'll look back and be like, oh my God, I wonder what would have happened if I had done this the first time I thought about it. So just don't let another 5 years pass. Do it now.
Right. And that's exactly right, because you have one life and might as well make yourself proud. Like, don't care. And as you said, who cares? And that's the one thing my friend said it to me. She knows that I really like myself. I really do.
I like you too. It's a vibe.
I like you too. Well, as I said, my mom was like, there was times in life where I was like, oh, well, maybe. All right. I kind of just was born this way.
Me too.
I've had an insecure moment here and there, but I don't. I do believe that I am made to do things and to do good things for people, and that I can help people. I truly, truly believe that. And that is why I do. Yeah. Right. Because I do. I know I have something to offer, and I have something to give. I can make people laugh. I can take them out of their crazy lives.
You're awesome.
I can bring them. Oh, thanks, honey.
You are. I really am enjoying this. You are so cool. You're such a breath of fresh air. You are a vibe. You really are. So I'm glad that you showed up and that you're doing this, because I know that it is serving people for sure.
I appreciate it. And it, as you said, when you got the microphone, that is exactly when I started this. I was like, oh my gosh. And you can see that closet right over there. Yeah. Before I got this microphone, that's where I recorded up until just 3 episodes ago. And this is up to 79. And I would go in there and I would I would literally talk, and I could talk to myself for 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, because I have things to say. So I appreciate it. And I feel the same thing about you, and what you're doing is just unbelievable. And again, you have that energy, you have that vibe, you have that where people want to be around you, because you do you are just fun, lovey. You could see that you have a big heart. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Aww, you're filling me up. I'm gonna explode.
Yeah, this is like a love fest. Can you share with everyone, Rita, what where people can find you, and just all that stuff, so people can listen and be like, yes, okay, we can go there.
Yeah. So you can find. Did I say Sue? So you can. I love it. I can't speak English today. You can find me all over, wherever, as Raw Vegan Rita, and my website is just ritapira.com. And I would love to connect with anybody who's listening who feels that, they'd like maybe coaching with me or anything like that. I am offering free coaching sessions right now. There's a link in my bio, in my Instagram bio, at Raw Vegan Rita. That'll allow you to fill out a coaching application, and I will set something up with you to help you out and kick you in the ass and make you do the thing that you talk yourself out of.
I love that. And also check Rita out on the Trading Raw Stories. Subscribe, rate, and review. You guys also, if you like what you hear here, Next Up Crazy Town, the Love What You Do series. You have to rate, review, share, and just get it out to your friends. And every week there's another woman that is just giving us the most wonderful information that we can take and then go and execute. Don't just sit there writing notes or being like, okay, I could do it. No, you got to get off your fucking ass and get it the fuck done.
It's time to show the fuck up, ladies. Let's go.
It is. Well, Rita, thank you so much for taking the time, because when are you moving?
Oh, March 1st. And I literally just signed my lease today. And what's today? March 20th or February 24th.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so excited for you. Well, I can't wait to and you guys watch her on social media, because she will let you know what's going on, because that is, and it's real and it's fun. And she has her dog, Frankie. It's Frankie, right?
It is Frankie. He's asleep on my lap right now.
He's so cute. As my listeners know, the boxers cannot be up here because they would like be looking out the window, barking, or in my face, or doing whatever. So
It's so funny.
yes, again, thank you so much, and please, guys, rate, review, send this podcast out to all, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
I hope you liked this episode of Your Next Stop. Please subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and join in each week.